Welcome to the 23rd week after Pentecost. It is Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. This is the Manna at the Tap podcast where we, as a community, actively seek the spiritual nourishment our souls crave. The daily lectionary reading we explore together is the Manna, designed to nurture our spiritual growth and provide the sustenance our souls need. I'm Gloria, your fellow traveler on this spiritual journey, and together we share insights and interpretations from these readings that enrich our spiritual lives. The lectionary reading is Matthew 20, verses 29 to 34, a story with a familiar ring. Three of the four gospel writers tell of the healing of blind men. The location of Jericho is the same in all of the stories with slight variations. In Mark's Gospel, Mark chapter 10, verses 46 to 52, Jesus and his disciples came to Jericho, and as they were leaving, one blind man named Bartimaeus called out to him. Luke's Gospel, Luke 18, 35 to 43, describes how Jesus healed one unnamed blind man as he and his disciples approached Jericho. The lectionary text is Matthew's recollection of the event, and we need to bear in mind that Matthew was an eyewitness. He reported that as they left Jericho, they encountered not one, but two unnamed blind men. All three accounts stated that Jesus and his disciples traveled with a crowd. In going to Jerusalem, Jews had a choice of two routes: to go through Samaria, a journey that would have taken 3 days by foot, but since they despised the Samaritans, pilgrims took the long route through Jericho, risking being attacked by bandits along lonely stretches of road. You remember the parable of the Good Samaritan is only told in Luke's Gospel, and it's of a man going from Jerusalem to Jericho who was robbed and left helpless until a Samaritan stopped to care for him and paid for his care at a hotel. Now, back to the lectionary text and Matthew's account of the healing of the two blind men sitting by the roadside when they heard a commotion. They couldn't see, so they asked what was causing all the stir. They were told that Jesus was going by, and they desperately cried out for him to have mercy on them. Their outcry bothered the crowd, and the crowd told them to be quiet, shut up. But the crowd's reaction did not deter the blind men. They shouted even louder, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on us." The blind men called Jesus the Son of David. They knew that he was the Messiah, and their simple plea was for Jesus to have compassion and mercy on them and to bestow his grace on them. You see, this was their only opportunity to encounter Jesus. According to Matthew, this is the last miracle that Jesus will perform because in Matthew chapter 21, Jesus is heading to Jerusalem to prepare for the Passover and his crucifixion. So, despite the crowd's behavior, Jesus heard the cry of the two blind men, and he stopped and he called them, asking what they wanted from him. Their request was very simple: Lord, we want our sight. Matthew tells us about two actions of Jesus. He had compassion on them and he touched their eyes. The two blind men responded by following Jesus after they received their sight. I wonder, can you imagine them as part of the crowd that followed Jesus on Palm Sunday? The miracle of the healing of the blind is unique to the New Testament and only by Jesus. There are no recorded miracles of healing of blindness in the Old Testament. But what we have in the Old Testament are prophecies that are found in Isaiah. In Isaiah 29:18, it says, "In that day, when the Messiah comes, the deaf will hear, and the eyes of the blind shall see." Then in Isaiah 35, verse 5a, "Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened." And in Isaiah 42, verse 7a, "to open the eyes that are blind." In Jesus' day, blindness was seen as a punishment for sinners. And if a person was born blind, it was assumed that their parents had sinned. Society treated blind people as outcasts. But Jesus went against this prevalent attitude, and he showed compassion toward them, and he touched them. I have a couple of questions for us as a community to think about. What does this mean to you, and who are the people you treat as outsiders in the community?